When I first started hand therapy, I struggled with shoulders and I was probably most intimidated by shoulders above everything else. Partly because I had experience in wound care and splinting, and so those weren't my two triggers. So everyone is a little different, but shoulders was essentially my nemesis, or one of them at least. And here's how it started to slowly click.
If you've been searching for the perfect in-person course to elevate your manual therapy skills, this is it. Whether you're an OT or PT, the 2-day manual therapy course is designed to help you master treatments for hand and arm injuries like never before. In just 2 days, Huang will walk you through exactly what it takes to treat any upper extremity injury from the hand to the shoulder. You'll not only learn powerful manual techniques, but also develop a next-level confidence in your approach. You'll leave knowing how to deliver exceptional results for your patients, all while protecting yourself from injury. The next day is on August 29th to 30th in Albany, New York. For more information on joining, click the link in our description.
First of all, you just get number one is practice, right? Number one is practice. And I used to practice on patients in the skilled nursing facility. I used to get my hands onto them when I was in acute care. But yeah, you have to really if you want to work in hands and you want to get a job in outpatient, get the job and then you can practice all you want. But here's what can help make it less intimidating and kind of help it kind of click so you're not so scared of shoulder injuries. There's 3 major shoulder problems. You have bone problems, you have rotator cuff tendon types of issues, and then you have ligament types of issues, right? So one of the things I like to do is I like to kind of like bucket into conservative versus surgical, and then we can deal with one and then the other, right? So we think about like buckets. You can think about non-surgical and you can think about surgical, right? And pretty much all of it kind of falls into these 2 major categories. You can have a bone problem, you can have a rotator cuff, which is a tendon problem, right? And then you can have a like ligament problem or labrum problem, right? Labrum, which is a ligament issue, right? And essentially the same thing on the surgical side. You can have a bone problem, you can have a tendon problem, and you can have a ligament problem, all right? So to make treating shoulders, like less complicated, one of the ways that you could do it is just kind of think about this. If you were treating non-surgical, right? If you're treating non-surgical, you just have to think about, I think this is harder. Like treating non-surgical, I think it's a little bit harder because you have to think about the severity, right? You have to think about how bad something is. And then you have to think, well, what are the chances? What are the likelihood that I can fix, or I can get some symptom relief for my patients? Surgical, this one non-surgical, you have to do a little bit of digging. You have to kind of like figure things out, right? Surgical is a little bit easier. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, like why would surgical be easier? But surgical is easier because you already know what the problem is. If someone had a fracture, then they fixed it, and then you had an ORIF, which is an open reduction internal fixation. You can have like a rod placement going down, like intermediary screw, right? But that's not as common as an ORIF. Bone issues, you could have a total shoulder replacement. And so when it comes to surgical cases, you can have a generalized protocol, right? And believe it or not, the protocols are almost the same. Like I used to be, oh my God, I gotta look at the protocol book, right? And you can. Protocol books are fantastic for when you're just starting out and you need like a little template or guideline. And this is mine. So when you have a bone issue, bones clinically take 4 to 6 weeks to heal, right? So technically speaking, 4 to 6 weeks. It's not that to say you can't do anything before 4 to 6 weeks. It's just that clinical healing means that once it's healed, you can do more, right? So if they stabilize it with placing screws, that means it's stable enough and you can probably do some movement. You can do some active, you can do some passive, just not very aggressive until the bone is set. And once the bone is set, you can do more. And then usually by 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, you can do more. So now you can stretch more, get more passive range of motion. You can start to strengthen. So light strengthening, right? And then by 12 weeks, you can do weight bearing, you can do push-ups, you can do heavy weights. And then, a few months after that, you can go back into like sports and activity, depending on your age of your patient and what their activity level is. Now, tendons are going to be your rotator cuff types of issues. And tendons and ligaments don't have blood supply. So they have to like sew it back together and then let scarring heal it, right? And so usually with tendons, you don't, like, the muscle is attached to the tendon and the tendon is attached to the bone. And so muscles only get long and only get short. So what happens is when the muscle retracts, it pulls on that tendon. Let me know if that makes sense. It pulls on that tendon. If it's torn and they just sewed it, you shouldn't pull on that tendon like that, right? So majority of the time in shoulder problems, you're allowed to do passive range of motion, but not active range of motion. Let me know if that makes sense. So if you take a look at your general protocols, they're going to be like, oh, you can start passive range of motion. You just can't do active range of motion. And you're allowed to do passive range of motion in a small range. Now, if you think about the shoulder it comprises of your humerus bone, but also your scapula and your clavicle. Now, in order for your shoulder to have this full range of motion, your shoulder blade has to move as well. So if you're only doing passive range of motion and you're pitting that, they're lying down on it, you're pitting that scapula, right? So think about like not pushing past 90 if the scapula isn't also moving as well. So majority of the time in the beginning, they tell you conservatively, like little bit by little bit, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 120, and then little bit by little bit, because you also want to move that shoulder blade. And then usually by 4 weeks, you have a certain amount of scarring, and then you're allowed to do active range of motion. Now, the whole weight of the arm, like, that's really heavy, right? So most of the time, you're graduating from just passive to like maybe active assisted and doing it with a stick, a bar, a dowel, whatever you want to call it, the table. So something to kind of help the muscles, right? And then you can progress to like moving it against gravity. And remember, when you're working with shoulder, don't think about I'm just working with someone in sitting, right? Or in standing. Think about I gotta work with someone in supine, I can work with someone in side lying, right? So you can do against gravity, side lying is external rotation, prone and shoulder extension, so keep in mind the position of the body and the line of pull of the muscle. And then ligaments. Ligaments are, again, connective tissue and doesn't have blood supply. So when something is torn and they have to sew it, again, you need a certain amount of scarring to heal it and then to stiffen up so that when you go to move it again, it's going to stretch and move, right? So a lot of times they're allowed to do a certain passive range of motion within a certain space or active range of motion because the tendons aren't affected, so you can move it and kind of stretch that ligament a little bit, but not too much. Now, so ligaments I think tend to be a little bit harder. I want to encourage you to study essentially or practice when it comes to shoulders and really understand how the shoulder works and the treatment that you could provide to your patients. And once you do that, it just gets easier and easier. How do you make something that was once hard easy? You practice, so for me, when I first started with shoulders, I was very intimidated. I wasn't sure if I was doing the right thing. I wanted my patients to get better. I just wasn't sure how. And so the way you can get better is really just practice, go home and study some of the anatomy, some of the protocols, and then bring it back to your patients and then practice. That's what I did, right? How do I make it easier? Well, I took courses. Like, what can I tell you? I started when I was studying, when I was learning about shoulders and just trying to practice more, I would watch what other people did. Now, this is not always possible if you're working as a solo OT, but there's a lot more available now to you than there was ever, for me. So, really consider taking a course, joining a mentorship program, look in your local area. If your coworkers are open to helping you, you can ask them. It's just that, one of the things that I didn't understand when I was starting out was when I was asking for help, it was requiring time from them, right? And not everyone is really that open to teaching. right? And so it was, sometimes it can be really tough getting someone who's like local within your area to really help you. And that was one of my things. So I would watch a couple of things, and I would just ask a few questions here and there to slowly surely understand, like, hey, how, what are you doing that exercise for, things like that. But one of the fastest things that like really helped me to really fully understand how to work with shoulders was just taking some courses, and then taking a course and then going back home and practicing those skills like immediately on patients. Don't just think, oh, I'm just going to study it, because studying in a silo doesn't really help you boost your confidence when it comes to being able to get great results. You want to study a certain amount and then take it to practice. Practice, see what works and doesn't work, take it back to studying and say, okay, what am I missing? What else do I want to add on? It's basically value stacking. Like once you learn how the bones work and how you have really good rhythm and movement, then you start studying a little bit more, like adding rotator cuffs, adding impingement, because impingements are rotator cuff types of issues. I think surgical cases tend to be a little easier because they're very direct, very specific, very protocol driven. And then once you're moving out of that protocol timeline, then you're just looking at symptoms. What are the symptoms? Are they painful? Are they lacking motion? And then non-surgical cases, these people tend to require more diving into details. Where exactly are they tight? A lot of these people have great range of motion, but why do they still continue to have that kind of pain, right? And so you have to be more of a detective to find these types of issues and then be able to work. I mean, I have a couple of patients right now. They come in and they're like, la, 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 I have great motion, but like, why does this hurt all the time? Why can't I do push-ups? And then it requires you to dig a little deeper. And so it's okay. If you don't have this yet, that's okay. You'll get there. Try some of these people first. And then it's going to help you expand your practice and then be able to continue to learn. It's totally possible. It gets easier with practice. It gets easier with time, as long as you are putting and learning very practical things, right? Let me know if this video has helped you. Like, subscribe, leave me some questions, because that's what allows me to help you continue to dive more into hand therapy and help you feel more comfortable with shoulders. And if you want to work with me personally, all the links are below. I have a manual therapy course, a module very specific, like a mini course very specifically for shoulders. But I think that all of it could help you if you're just looking to develop your clinical skills in manual therapy. We also have a mentorship program. The mentorship program, we're going to go into shoulders during this month that's coming up in May. We're going to start lecturing on shoulders. We'll talk about this very exact thing. We're going to talk about differential testing and things like that, and just showcasing some treatments that really can work and can help your patients. Dive into the links if you want to work with me. Until next time, I'll see you on the next video.